You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey Days fans, Melinda from Soap Dirt, and I've got your 2-week spoilers from Monday, June 10th, all the way through Friday, June 21st. There's a lot to unpack here. We have got the wedding that turns into almost a red wedding. We definitely have blood flowing. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you might get that reference. We also have someone feeling like he's unlovable, someone needs a lawyer, and somebody needs a clue. Let's unpack all of this, but first, please hit subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. All right, Monday, June 10th, before we get into the wedding stuff, one non-wedding spoiler. Clyde and Melinda may both pay for their crimes. If they can get a confession out of Clyde about the Lee Shin killing, then Melinda's leverage to keep herself out of jail for the baby stealing scheme is going to go by the wayside. However, we do know that Melinda is still actively working. Well, Tina Huang, who plays her, is still actively working as Melinda. They are filming scenes. Looks like Remington Hoffman is back as Lee Shin. So another non-death associated with Clyde, including this Abby thing. All right, now let's talk about the red wedding. So Maggie and Konstantin's wedding continues to explode in a carryover from Cliffhanger Friday. There is gunplay. Konstantin grabs Teresa to use as a meat shield. Shots ring out. In the end, Maggie collapses, but it's from stress. She is not shot. Steve is the one who is shot. Xander leaves Sarah taking care of him so he can chase down Konstantin in the park. Now, I don't know if this confrontation happens Monday or Tuesday because it's not in the spoilers, but it was in the promo. In the park, Konstantin still has a hold of Teresa, and he says some very upsetting things to Xander. Then late, Konstantin's either shot or arrested or both. Just by the way, he's definitely looks like he's going to be nabbed or incapacitated. I hope we never see him again. That'd be awesome. And Brady, Xander, and Alex, in the aftermath of all this, talk about the strange things Konstantin said and what they could possibly mean. And Marlena talks to Stephanie about Bob Everett, and it is bad news for this guy who has at least 2 personalities roaming around in his noggin. Wednesday, June 12th, we got Eric Brady asking EJ to be his lawyer. The irony of that. And the only thing I can imagine is that it's for a divorce, because the adoption should be undone just by the illegality of it. You don't have to undo an adoption of a stolen baby when the adoptive parents aren't fighting, right? So it's got to be about divorcing Sloan in absentia because she has run off because EJ paid her to do it. Leo Stark wants Marlena Evans to help him, to help fix him so that he can find lasting love in his life. And this week he meets his next love interest. I have heard that Al Calderon is the actor who is playing a guy named Javi, who is supposed to be Leo's new guy. He does not look anything like DVL, his ex. Johnny and Chanel get more tests done to find out if they know if there's something wrong with the baby because of the radiation exposure, to see if there are any issues yet. So we'll see how that goes. Thursday, June 13th, Johnny gets a new job offer. And remember, he kept telling Chanel that all the job offers for what he does have all been out of town. He talks to her about this one as the week shuts down. And Rafe interrogates Clyde about his crimes. So there's the whole Gabi being alive thing. You know, Rafe probably doesn't even, Abby being alive. And Rafe's probably not going to be concerned about it because it seems improbable, although it shouldn't seem improbable because it's Salem. It's like the Walking Dead over there. There's so many previously dead people in town. I would like to actually do a head count of people who haven't died and been resurrected. That might be a smaller number. What he wants to know is if Clyde is going to confess to having Gil kill Lee Shin, because that would exonerate Rafe's sister Gabi and get her out of prison. We do know she is on the scene soon. Friday, June 14th, Stefan asks Kristen for help clearing Gabi's name. So either Rafe doesn't get what he wants out of Clyde, or he gets it but hasn't told Stefan yet by Friday. Chanel has an update for Paulina Price and talks to her about plans she and Johnny are making. I wonder if they're leaving town. I do know they are still around. Carson Boatman and Raven Bowens are still around filming. So even if they do leave, it's not going to be a permanent leave, at least not right now. And Chad tells Julie what Clyde said about Abby. Julie is completely stunned and wants to know if he believes it's possible. Well, it's Salem. You have to believe it's possible, right? All right, the week of June 17th through the 21st, Johnny and Chanel are considering a big life change. Stefan is desperate to get Gabi Hernandez out of prison, and I just have to wonder if Clyde's going to be helpful or the same jerk that he always is, because he's got to be going up the river for life. So what incentive is it for him to come clean on anything unless, you know, he gets a cushier prison? Although he needs to be in Supermax, because this is like what, his third jailbreak? I can remember 3 jailbreaks. There may have been more, but I can distinctly remember 3. Gabi Hernandez is due home, but I wonder if it's going to be Clyde that helps get her out by finally telling the truth, or will it be Melinda Trask? Clyde can always say, look, Gil killed him, but I didn't tell him to. Gil was a loose cannon. You saw what he tried to do to Ava Vitale. I mean, that would be one way to go if Clyde wants to play ball and maybe get, you know, more privileges or a less horrific prison that he's sent to. And Chad, meanwhile, is determined to find out if what Clyde said about Abigail was true, and that means he needs to start searching. Start from the moment she died and figure out a path from there. Really, his first call should be to Dr. Rolfe and just say, hey, by the way, did you happen to resurrect my wife and not let me know? That's the first call I'd make. Leo sees this new cute guy, Javi, again. He's definitely checking him out. EJ is increasingly uncomfortable around Eric and Nicole, but that may encourage him to take the case, just get it over with, and then push Eric back out of their lives. He doesn't want him around. And things are getting worse for Bob Everett, but I just wonder if he's going to let Marlena or Stephanie help him. And Xander definitely wants to find out the truth about him and Victor after Konstantin's last message. It looks like Konstantin says something to Xander in the park during the whole gun thing that the other guys are not going to hear. Something like, Victor really is your father, but you can't prove it. And I do think he's going to tell Alex, Victor's not your father. Like, he just wants to cause a bunch of chaos on his way out. Interestingly, though, he's not going to throw Teresa under the bus, because if he did throw Teresa under the bus, she'd come clean. She'd tell the truth. And I don't think Konstantin wants the truth out. I think he wants everybody upset and in upheaval, because that's just the jerk that he is. All right, those are all of our 2-week spoilers for Days. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't. Drop your comments on what you are excited to see in all these exciting front burner storylines. And come back soon. We're here talking Days of Our Lives 7 days a week. And as always, this is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.